Blue Dragon is a role-playing game made by Mistwalker Studios for the Xbox 360. The developers were clearly trying to mimic the graphical style and feel of the Dragon Quest game. They even went so far as to get Akira Toriyama himself to do the character and monster designs. The game's story revolves around an evil ancient wizard that goes around torturing the various villages of the world in order to instill fear in the populace so that they worship him as their king and god. You play as a young headstrong kid of one of those villages who decides to fight back and is joined by his friends. Sadly, the story never really goes beyond that. As you travel around the world, it's the same thing over and over again. Come to a village that's being terrorized, fix their problems, and move on. To be fair, a lot of the Dragon Quest games follow that same formula. The difference, however, is that usually the story, and more importantly the characters, end up being more interesting, whereas the ones in Blue Dragon never do. Gameplay-wise, it's pretty much your standard turn-based, class-based, Japanese-style RPG. That aspect is done pretty well, however. Battles are pretty fun, and bosses usually have some sort of weakness you need to exploit in order to win. One interesting feature that I would love to see in other games of this type is that you can engage multiple enemy groups in succession, and are rewarded with bonuses in between each round, as well as increased skill points at the end of battle. Unfortunately, however, this game does that old dev trick where they take the same enemy and simply color it differently. Normally that kind of thing is okay if it's done minimally, but this game does it a lot. I mean a crazy lot. The game's graphics combined with Akira Toriyama's designs are quite nice. It is a cartoony style, however, and I could see where some people may be put off by that, but I enjoyed it much like I do the Dragon Quest series. Technical flaws, however, dampen the experience, the biggest of which is frame rate issues. You'll notice slowdown in just about every battle, and probably about half of the explorable areas, and that's with the data installed onto your Xbox. The other big technical flaw that always pisses me off is the lack of VSync, causing screen tearing. I mean, is it really that hard to implement VSync? Really? Blue Dragon is a pretty large game. Just doing the campaign, I clocked in at around the 45-hour mark. With all the side quests, it could easily be upwards of 70 hours, since you would need to grind to beat all the side bosses. But is that time worth it, despite the game's flaws? Well, Blue Dragon isn't a great game, but it's not a bad game either. I would recommend it to someone who really likes JRPGs and doesn't have anything better to play, but otherwise, I'd say pass and play something better.